The Toronto Blue Jays finally get back in the win column thanks to a Danny Jansen walk-off three-run home run in the 10th inning against the New York Yankees. It was a crazy game, a lot of miscues from both teams, but the Jays came out victorious. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And excuse the lighting in here. It's not working too well in this Airbnb, but it's all right. We're going to get through it. What a game. I just got back to my spot, and I was at the Rogers Center just 15 minutes ago, and what an unbelievable atmosphere. What an unbelievable way to win a game against Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and we got some exclusive footage from you that we'll show shortly. But before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're close to 7,000. Your support's been great on all these videos. And the Jays, they needed a win, and they ultimately got one today. But again, hit the subscribe button. Your support's been great. And let's get into it. The Jays' crazy walk-off win. And this was a crazy game, and in the way that is not, usually crazy. Usually the offenses are crazy with the Yankees and Blue Jays, but today it was just a crazy, weird game. The defense was weird. The Blue Jays could not hit with runners in scoring position. The Yankees couldn't either. It was a pitching masterclass, which we'll touch on next. But Peter, you were at the game, and what are your thoughts on everything today, specifically the hittings? We'll touch on Chris Bassitt in a moment.
I mean, the Jays came close a couple times. They loaded the bases on numerous occasions, and they had so many opportunities to cash in. Now, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was
A lot.
12 runners left on, and it was just it was tough. I mean, it's hard to string together hits against Garrett Cole and against those fireballers in the Yankee bullpen, but they found a way. It felt like they were going to break through, but we didn't know when. And then finally, Danny Jansen capped it off there. I mean, we knew right away off the bat that it was gone. And there were a couple of Yankee fans sitting next to me. They knew that it was gone as well. And I think this was a big win for the Jays, just because they've been getting very unlucky. They've been lining out a lot to Yankee outfielders and finally broke through. Hopefully, they can go ahead and get the split tomorrow, but they got six more games coming up against divisional opponents, so it does not get any easier from here on out. But man, it was an exciting game, and I'm glad this road trip that I had is not going to end winless.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. This was a game that not a must win. There's no must wins this early, but it's one that you really need to win to get some momentum, have a chance to split the series. And we're gonna be quiet for a second and let you listen to the walk off. Good call by Dan Shulman in case you did miss it. So here you go.
And a fly ball to deep left field, and Danny Jansen is sending it home.
So Danny Jansen walk off bomb, and Peter, and you were there. It sounded pretty electric, and it was just
Yeah.
it had the feeling of a game that if the Jays didn't score there, would have just ended in disaster. So I'm happy we took care of business there because it was a pretty disastrous game overall. And I'll touch on the box score now. And no Vladimir Guerrero Jr., no Kevin Kiermaier, two of our three of our best hitters, and Matt Chapman's up there as well. But George Springer 1 for 4, Bo Bichette, yeah, tons of ones. Only one person on the team. That's Alejandro Kirk in a multi-hit game there. What were your thoughts on anyone you want to touch on? We'll leave Cavan Biggio to the end because I'll have a little quick touch on him. But, Brandon Belt had a very good game as well. He got on base 3 times, but the offense just struggled today on both ends.
It's very noticeable when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is not in the lineup, and you could tell right away that Dalton Varsho has to slide up to the number 3 spot, Matt Chapman to the 4 spot, and it just makes that lineup a little more thin than it usually is. And they haven't been clicking on all cylinders. We could see that. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out, but man, it was just a struggle today, and it was an absolute grind for the Blue Jays. They found a way. That's what good teams do. But they gotta figure some things out on the offensive end because there's a lot of black holes 1 through 9, and you can't get through a full season like that. Obviously, everything's gonna even out, but I don't think Matt Chapman's gonna have a 950 OPS once it's all said and done. I don't think Bo Bichette's gonna be in the 920s either. But you just I don't think Varsho's gonna be 687 OPS either. So all those things are gonna iron themselves out. But you got to find a way to scratch and claw and get these wins, and that's what they did tonight. I thought this was going to be the toughest matchup of the series, considering that Garrett Cole was on the mound. He's been absolutely lights out all year long, and man, just I keep alluding to it, but you find a way, and that's what separates the good teams from the great teams. And hopefully, the Jays could spark a bit of a run after this big win.
Yeah, and you talked about Garrett Cole being obviously the ace of the Yankees. Let's talk about one of the aces for the Blue Jays, and that's Chris Bassitt. And what a season he's putting up! 27 straight scoreless innings, I believe, was the stat, and he has been something that what a revelation for him. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts against a very solid New York Yankees team. he is the master of weak contact. He's throwing 93 to 95, which is enough. His command is phenomenal. Stuff is crazy. Peter, what'd you see? You're out again. You were at the game. What'd you see tonight out of him that he is just absolutely dominant? And the top, our pitching staff is starting to, even out a little bit aside from Alek Manoah. But if Chris Bassitt can continue pitching like this, there's no doubt in my mind he's definitely going to be up there for maybe even the number 2 starter in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's a warrior out there on that mound, and he just finds a way. And man, what a performance today! He made that fantastic play when Brandon Belt bobbled the ball at first base, and it was just an absolute master class from him. He's a master of location, and it's just great to see him pitch like that, and he just finds a way when he's out there on that mound. And if you take away that first start, I think he's got a sub-2 ERA for the season, and he's just been everything that the Blue Jays could have hoped for and more. And he's been so phenomenal out there. It gives him a chance every time he's out there, and he's very efficient too. That's the one thing that I notice from Chris Bassitt when I see him in person. He doesn't waste any movement. He doesn't waste any time. He goes right after you. He's on the corners. He lives there, and just a phenomenal pitcher. Like this guy is a pure pitcher, and you could see it. It's through and through.
Yeah, he's absolutely dominant, and hopefully he continues that because he is huge win today against, of course, the ace of the Yankee staff in Garrett Cole. But let's also touch on the bullpen while we're here. They did a phenomenal job. Jimmy Garcia did solid. Tim Meza struggled a little bit, but got a huge strikeout with the bases loaded there to end the inning against Anthony Volpe. And we got to give a huge shout out to Jordan Romano, who not only pitched a scoreless top of the 9th, but pitched a scoreless top of the 10th with the Manfred runner on, which is something that, we really needed because the offense was struggling, and it seemed like we were only going to get one run if we were going to be able to get one. Ultimately, Danny Jansen hit the home run, but, maybe they pitch him differently if they have the lead. But Jordan Romano, it seems like he's either absolutely electric, one of the best relievers, or he struggles a little bit. But today he was on, throwing 98, 99, locating, nasty slider, and he won us the game.
This was a big performance out of him, and we're very weary about Jordan Romano in non-save situations, and he got through 2 innings of scoreless ball, and he just stepped up when it mattered the most, and that's what a closer does. He comes in there and he shuts the door, and Jordan Romano was so impressive today, and I love seeing his intro up close and personal at the Rogers Center. There's nothing cooler than that.
Yeah, unbelievable, and maybe we'll get some footage next time we go to a game for that, but overall, phenomenal job out of the pitching staff. Shout out to the bullpen, and of course, Chris Bassitt, who has been a little bit of an MVP for us so far. So huge shout out to him. And let's touch on this last topic before we do wrap up, and it's the offense struggle, which you touched on. Spell struggle there, but Biggio needs to go. I went a little bit hot with this take. Maybe he doesn't need to go, but Peter, I'm pretty fed up with the Cavan Biggio experiment. He got doubled up at second base, and I had the luxury, I don't know if you did, to get a different angle from Keegan Matheson on Twitter, and he, jumped a line drive. He hesitated and then hesitated once the ball was caught again getting back. And he's doing nothing for the team whatsoever. He has a 186 or something on base percentage. I think his time is up, and it's time to bring up someone like Spencer Horwitz. I don't know why he's on the team anymore. I have zero idea.
You're not out of line with that comment. He needs to go.
Yeah.
He needs to go. It's as simple as that. And I've seen enough out of him in the past 3 seasons to tell you that it is time to part ways with Cavan Biggio, whether it be sending him down to the minors or
waving him at this point.
Yeah, that might be your only option because I don't think he has any trade value at this point. He got brought in for Brandon Belt as a pinch runner, and your job as a pinch runner, if anything, is to not get doubled off and not make mistakes on the base pass. Now, I've prided myself on saying that he is a very good base runner and can be valuable in that aspect, and I still think he is, but that's a mental mistake, and that just proves that he wasn't ready to come into that ball game. If you're a major league player, you got to be ready each and every minute of the game because your number could be called at any moment in time, and he just was not ready. He came in, he got doubled off for whatever reason. He's not freezing on a line drive. He's going halfway, and that's fundamentals 101. And I honestly would have bunted if I was John Schneider. I would have made Alejandro Kirk bunt considering the way the offense was rolling, but that's unacceptable out of Biggio, and he's not even getting any regular playing time. He's not getting at bats. So if you can't even be a valuable contributor as a pinch runner, something's got to give, man, and I don't think he's got a place on this team anymore.
Yeah, I'm done with him completely, and I don't think there's many Jays fans out there who aren't. But let us know your thoughts around that as now we move on.
But let's focus on the win. Let's focus on.
I had to throw it in there though because it was frustrating to watch, and it is what it is. But quick look ahead to tomorrow's game. It's going to be an interesting one. We need the Blue Jays to win. Jose Berrios is on the mound. You're not going to be at that one, I guess, but. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully the Jays can, if we walk out of this series after all the drama and everything that's happened with the split, we'll take it. The Yankees are a very good team despite their, their lackluster-ish record coming in. Now it's very close to the Blue Jays, but hopefully the Jays can take care of business. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.